What is up, you guys? It is me again, as you can clearly see. Bearders. Alrighty, you guys, let us cut into the video. So, God only gives us the understanding of what He wants us to understand. This is going to be a good video. You know, there is a reason why we can't understand or comprehend how God created the universe, or how God never came into existence. Rather, He's always existed. You know, have you ever stopped and thought about, like, just like really try to think really deep, like, God, how did you create the universe? The universe. All right, so here's the cool thing about the Milky Way galaxy. The Milky Way galaxy is approximately 100 to 105,000 light years across, and it's a spiral galaxy. And it's 100 to 105,000, 100,000 to 105,000 light years in diameter. One light year, just one light year, not a million light years, not 1,000 light years, not 100,000 light years, but just one light year is 6 trillion miles. 6 trillion with a T miles. And the Milky Way galaxy is around 100,000 to 105,000 light years. Again, just one light year is 6 trillion miles. It would take 20 million years, about, I think I've read before, going the speed of light from one end of the Milky Way to the other end of the Milky Way. Around 20 million light years. 20 million years to get to the end of the Milky Way from the other end, from the opposite end. The Andromeda galaxy is twice as big. It's over 200,000 light years in diameter. And again, one light year is 6 trillion miles. And it's around 200-something thousand light years in diameter. And I'm sure there's galaxies out there that are even 100 times or 1,000 times even bigger than the Andromeda galaxy, which is crazy. But scientists have actually debated that the size of the entire universe is around 96 to 98 billion light years in diameter. 96 to 98 billion light years. Just one light year. I know I'm repeating this, but it's just so awesome. One light year is 6 trillion miles. 96 to 98 billion with a B light years in diameter is around how big the entire universe is, and it's growing every day. You know, way back, hundreds of years ago, the person who created the telescope thought that the Milky Way galaxy was the entire universe. They just didn't know that there were stuff beyond the Milky Way, outside. That's just where we are. where our solar system is. There's things on the outside of the Milky Way. There's trillions of galaxies in the universe. The universe is in the entirety of outer space and everything in it. That's what the universe is. So it's just crazy. It is absolutely crazy. God, of course, we can't understand God's, how he created the universe and everything in it, how he did this. We cannot understand God. We cannot grasp that of God. Why? Because he didn't want to give our mind, he didn't want to give our flesh unlimited minds with unlimited understanding. He decided to give us limited understanding instead of unlimited understanding. We're not even going to have unlimited understanding in heaven. We're going to be learning throughout eternity. That's going to be awesome too. It's going to be cool. God is going to be teaching us stuff throughout all eternity. I've actually heard this from a couple people before, and it's going to be really awesome. You're not going to know everything. Of course, if you did know everything, that would not make you God. Because to be God does not only mean you have unlimited understanding, that you know everything. That's an aspect of God, but it doesn't make somebody God if a person had infinite understanding. God has never existed before. God has never came into existence before. He's always existed. Always. He was never created. He's always been there. So that's another thing right there that we can't understand. Like when you're really trying to think God's beginning, the beginning of God. You can't. Eternity past, he's always existed. Billions and trillions and zillions of years ago, he's existed. Endless trillions and billions and zillions and quadrillions and billions of zillions of unending trillions and billions and zillions and quadrillions of years, God has always been there. Every second of all those many years that I just explained, he's always been there. He's never come into existence. So, trying to understand God is like trying to talk to a wall. So, you can't do it. It's not like you have to have a lot of hard work and then you'll be able to do it. Absolutely not. You cannot do it. It's impossible to understand God completely. You can't fully understand him. Why? Because, again, the only reason why we're able to understand things is because God gave us that understanding of the things that we can understand. We're not meant to understand the entirety of God. To understand the entirety of God, we'd have to be God. Because it's an infinite amount of understanding and knowledge of God. An unending amount of him. There's no limit of God to God. He's unlimited, he's endless, he's eternal. So he's everlasting. So there's no getting done understanding God. So that's the reason why we can't understand God completely. Again, is because he hasn't given us the understanding to understand him completely. Because our brains can't. We're incapable of understanding God completely because our brains are limited, not unlimited. See what I'm saying? And God is unlimited. To understand something to its entirety that's unlimited, you'd have to have an unlimited amount of understanding that your brain can actually be capable of understanding. Which, obviously, I don't have to go and say, obviously we can't do that. So, I hope you guys enjoy this video. and answer your question if you were wondering this.